Grab some coffee, a Mountain Dew, maybe both. A storm is brewing. The Brainstorm. Welcome to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike.
Welcome to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. It's a great day here, and I'm looking forward to this show. Over the last number of weeks and months, Mike, we put on a number of real good content-filled shows, and I know we've gotten a lot of feedback on some of those shows. Mm-hmm. You and I just finished up our Q&A series that we did, where we've gotten tell the listeners about the Q&A series in case they missed that. They want to go back to our podcast and listen.
Yeah, definitely. If you missed it, I encourage you to go back. It's man, we had a lot of questions that we've compiled over a period of time from listeners, from our customers, from people that we just meet in the community that they're just looking to improve their business. And we hear a lot of the questions, kind of spun in different ways, but it's the same things over and over again. So it was great to just be able to share some of our experiences and some of our customers' experiences that we've served and kind of share that wisdom that we've gained, over the years. Yeah,
I think in total, I think we were doing about 8 per show, but 3 shows, about 24. Maybe we threw a couple extra in, 25 or so questions that was asked to us over the course of time from people we either knew or we didn't know. Some were clients, some were not clients. But you can go to thebrainstormradio.com and subscribe to our podcast and check it out. But today I'm excited. I got a good friend and client over here, Chad Shealy with Wilson's Refrigeration and Air. He's become a really close friend of both Mike and I over the number of years that he's been working with us. Chad, welcome to the show.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. We all 3 go to the same barber.
Right
if you're watching this via
I'm having
video,
a better hair day.
You are, yeah. So if you're watching this via video, that's probably one of the first things you notice was our hair. Our barber is the same. In other words, no hair. Chad's probably got the least amount of hair.
Hey, I throw in a little pitch for Harry's razors.
Yeah.
Oh, an unsolicited commercial. Right. We'll have to get a little bonus spot out to them. All right. Well, Chad, you're with Wilson's Refrigeration and Air. Tell me what it's like managing and running a kind of a service-based business on a daily basis.
Great question, Matt. It's like running the Wild West. Service-based. Some days it's nice and calm and everything's going very smoothly. And then some days when the weather changes in an HVAC business, it is mass chaos. It's taking care of clients as fast as you can, as quick as you can, and just trying to keep everybody focused on the goal of, taking care of the customer every day.
Okay, yeah. Well, what does, tell me a little bit about your business, because you just mentioned HVAC and the name Wilson Refrigeration and Air. Just kind of describe your business as a whole.
We're a local HVAC and refrigeration contractor. We work on mostly residential, light commercial, and light refrigeration. So brings in a lot of walk-in cooler clients and refrigeration stuff on the restaurant side. Truck delivers, $10,000 worth of groceries. The cooler's not working. They need somebody immediately,
Yeah.
In South Carolina, if your air conditioning gets above 75 degrees, then, that constitutes an emergency as well. So
absolutely,
people are calling us every day that they're, can't breathe because it's 76 inside and we need to get over there immediately. But, all jokes aside, just keeping people cool and comfortable. It is hot and it's miserable in the summer here with the high humidity. So, we try to take care of them as fast as we can. That's the big thing.
Right.
So Chad, how long have you guys been in business?
We've been in business for 32 plus years. Actually started our 33rd year this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man. It's been great.
That's awesome. And how big is your service area?
We're in the Midlands, so I'd say it's about a 35-mile radius around Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. And kind of in the peak seasons, how many technicians might you have out all at once?
We're usually staffed anywhere from 10 to 12 technicians.
Yeah. And is that people that are just repairing and servicing, or is that also people installing new units?
If you throw in install side of things, we have another 10 guys on the install.
Okay.
So total guys out in the field on a day-to-day basis is anywhere from, say, 20 to 22 guys.
I gotcha. And so kind of what's that process look like? So a customer has an air condition issue at their house. It's blazing hot like it can get in the summer here. And they call your office, they find you online, however they come about finding Wilson's, and they ultimately reach out and want someone to come out and check things out. What's that process look like from there?
I got you. So typically when the call comes in, our dispatch team, will prioritize that call. Commercial refrigeration, light commercial refrigeration goes first. Heating and air clients are always number one. If you're a maintenance contract client with us, we move you to the top of the list. But what we typically do is give you about a 2-hour window. So we don't typically know how every call is going to run. Some will go a little longer than others, but we get you on the schedule, get you a window that'll suit you and of course suits us as well. We notify you before we come. We give you a 30-minute call, so you're not sitting at the house waiting on Wilson's Refrigeration like some of the other services that you have to deal with. The technician comes out. We give you a diagnostic. We tell you what's going on. We give you a quote to repair it. You can move forward with the quote at that time. We have vehicles that are stocked. Or if maybe it's more feasible to look at replacing the equipment, we can have a comfort advisor come out, give you some options. Let's say that your system is down and we can't get it restored today. We have portable air conditioners available. We'll bring those out.
That is nice.
Hook those up for you. Get you a couple rooms cooling, maybe not the whole house, but get you some cooling. Do what we can to keep you comfortable until we can get our crew out. Typically, if it's a residential install and it's no AC, we try to elevate those and put them at the first of the list. We have 4 install crews, so we have subcontractors that's help. So we will get them taken care of within a day or so. We finance it for you. We try to make it as painless as possible.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice. You mentioned humidity in a couple questions ago. Humidity in the HVAC business, from what I've learned, being in the marketing business of having clients in your business like yourself, because that's what everything I know about the HVAC business. That's where I learned it from. Is talking to folks like you, because I couldn't fix an HVAC system. My life depended on it, and sometimes in the middle of July in South Carolina, it feels like your life depends on it because it gets hot. But the biggest thing is it gets humid, and you mentioned humidity. I know humidity is a big controller of actual heat, right?
Correct. So air conditioning systems don't actually make water. They just take the humidity out of the air.
Gotcha.
So as that system's running and cooling, the water is coming out as the byproduct, hence the draining system on air conditioning. So once you pull out the moisture, then it feels more comfortable to the skin, because the moisture is what you feel in the air on your skin.
Okay, gotcha.
So once you can pull that moisture out, then a house, say at 75 with humidity, once you pull that moisture out at 75, we have a lot of clients tell us they actually have to turn their systems up to be more comfortable because it's colder.
Wow, because of humidity.
Because of humidity.
I know we had some clients down on the coast at one point that actually was doing humidity control, a lot of humidity control systems. That's very educational, and probably I would assume the majority of people don't even know about that.
That's correct. Most of them don't. It's not a dehumidifier. It's not gonna. We can get it down to about 55%.
Yeah.
50 if you're really pushing it, but
yeah,
55% is where you want to be in a home.
Okay.
That's very good information. We love having folks like yourself come on the show, Chad. We have a number of questions for you lined up. We're going to try to stump you with some. Hopefully not. I know you better than that. You won't get stumped with any of the questions, but we have a bunch of questions for you. But I appreciate you joining us. We're going to go to break here for just a second. We're going to come back with some really cool questions. For all you guys listening and watching, thank you for visiting with us here on The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. Hey, welcome back to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. We're here with special guests, Mike and myself. We have a special guest, Chad Shealy from Wilson's Refrigeration and Air. He's been a client and a friend of ours for a number of years. An excellent operator of a small business here in Columbia, South Carolina. He deals with all of the typical things that an operator would have to deal with, right? From staffing to scheduling to just HR to vehicles breaking down to revenue to expenses.
A lot of hats.
A lot of
yeah.
hats. That's exactly what most small businesses have to jump through. And small businesses have different definitions from local small business being, like a one-man type deal to, on a national scale, a small business is anything under 500 employees. Personally, I call that a pretty sizable business.
That's pretty large.
Yeah.
My 40 is enough.
Yeah, your 40 is plenty, right? But he's doing very, very well, and we all have a lot to learn from Chad, so thanks for joining us here.
Yes, sir.
On the Brainstorm. So right when we went off a break, we were just talking about the business overall. You were giving some information about air conditioning, heating, air conditioning, refrigeration. Mike wants to jump into talking about the actual business itself now. So take it over, Mike.
Yeah, so one of the first things that we always talk to clients about is how they measure success. What does success look like for them? And so, every business measures success a little differently. So kind of my question for you, Chad, as we jump off here is like, what's the most important metric or few metrics that you look at to determine if you're making progress toward success or not?
Great question. The first thing I look at is happy employees.
Yeah.
To be honest, without the guys and the staff, and a good culture, you really are spinning your wheels when it comes down to the rest of the metrics that people like to measure. Of course, we do measure all the revenue goals, accessory goals, leads, and different things that help us be successful. But our main focus is really is employee oriented. I love happy employees. I'm a happy guy, and I like them to be happy. And we want to take care of those first, because as they're happy, they're out introducing themselves to our clients. Our clients see it in their faces. They appreciate that, and they appreciate the honesty that comes along with knowing somebody's there, and they're happy to be there, and they're willing to take care of them.
Right.
That's good. Culture is a big deal.
It is. It's a differentiator. I mean, I'd say attitude determines your altitude, right?
Exactly.
And so we know from experience and from just research that pretty much how you treat your employees, your staff, is they're going to treat your customers probably a notch below that. So
I agree.
Keep that in mind, listeners. If you're going off on your employees every day, they might do the same to your to your customers, and it's probably not good for your business.
No doubt.
I agree.
So that's awesome. So you say your number one metric is you check the temperature of the employee and make sure that they're doing well.
We meet quite often. We try to be involved, and it's not just. It might not be socially acceptable for everybody, but it's not just company. It's employee based, like their family, their kids. What's going on in their life on a day-to-day basis? How do we help them? How do we help them win? How do we help them be successful? Not just at work, but outside of work. Because if you can combine the two, then you really win.
Right. I agree 100%. So beyond that, I mean, obviously the business has to make money to be able to keep the employees, which will keep them happy.
Yeah. The employees do tend to stay happier when
the paycheck clears.
Yeah.
That
Pay's
does
pretty
help.
important. Pay's pretty important.
So I know that if someone needs a new air conditioning unit, obviously I'm gonna call that like a project expense where someone's paying for that. But what about beyond that? What about like maintenance agreements and how does that play into your business?
The maintenance agreements are truly our lifeblood of a heating and air company. Those are the clients that they're no longer customers; they're clients. We deal with them, twice a year. We're offering them the latest and the greatest of HVAC technologies. We keep them up to abreast of what's out there for them that they could use, and they really are great referrals.
Yeah, no doubt.
When they've met my team multiple times, when they're asking for them by name, then you've established a relationship that's trust based, which is very, very important when I'm sending grown men into homes.
Yeah, I agree.
Background checked and drug screened, of course, but it still goes to show character of those guys that when we go to your home in the middle of the day and the husband's out of the home, or maybe even the mom and the husband today, and the daughter's there, that you can trust us, that that we're going to come in and be respectful of your property, of your family, and that's so important. That's everything.
That really is. I mean, it gives people peace of mind. That
most definitely.
And it's common that people have a mistrust toward anyone who, whether it's a mechanic on their vehicle or someone coming into their home and offering a repair or service. It's common for people that lack trust because they've been taken advantage of by someone in their path, or maybe their neighbor has, and so it's great that you're doing all of those things to help give them that peace of mind.
Correct. That's our main focus, peace of mind. Know that what we're coming to do for you is going to take care of you, and we're always going to be there for you.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is really how you measure success is really not about the numbers. The numbers kind of take care of themselves if you take care of the customer.
Always.
And the employee.
Always.
That's awesome. Awesome. Matt, do you want to segue over into the next kind of topic?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely interesting, though. I love the fact that it's very cultural based, right? Because we talk about culture. In fact, the brainstormradio.com, where you can listen to our podcast and watch other videos, you'll see a ton of shows based just simply and solely on culture itself. It's good. We talk about that quite often. We feel that probably is one of the main metrics of business. So we're equally aligned with that, Chad. Hey, just looking at the business itself, we have a customer base, and you guys thankfully have, Mike alluded to it, a strong maintenance contract customer base. You obviously said it when you said they go from customer to client. I love that, right? Because it's a next level relationship that you have with those folks. Talk to me about customer satisfaction. And through customer satisfaction, what we found in the marketing business is that only comes by way of communication. How do you communicate with both clients? And I know that both Mike and I are clients of yours as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And so talk to me about how you communicate, like before the appointment, after the appointment, just ongoing communication. How do you communicate?
So we use the number one software for contractors.
Okay.
We use a program called Service Titan. And with that program, it allows us to, when we schedule your appointment, you get a text or email or both notification of your appointment time. If it's the next day, you get a reminder that night that we're coming in the morning. If it's the same day, you get a notification when our technician's been dispatched, so you know that he's on the way. Once the call is complete, what we found is one of the biggest factors is you get a survey. It's a very simple survey, one question, how did we do, 5 stars, 1 to 5 star rating, and you have an option to leave a message. We look at those every week. We check those. We've had over 650 in-house surveys that gauges our customer support. So with those surveys, it allows us to, if we do have a client that's upset that they might not have called to tell us, but they gave us a 1 star or a 3 star or whatever that might be, we immediately call them and find out, was it a mistake, or did we? Some people said, I thought 1 was number 1.
Okay.
So
that actually does happen.
It does happen.
Absolutely.
It does happen. But then if they leave a comment that, hey, I didn't feel comfortable at this situation, and it allows us to not only coach the technician, but to call the homeowner immediately and make sure that they're satisfied, which is how you keep your satisfaction rating so high.
Nice, very nice. So would you agree that communication is the key to success?
It's most definitely.
Yeah. And you just said it through your culture. You gauge your employees, because it's not just communication externally, it's also communication internally as well.
Yep.
All right, so we're talking about communication. We feel, Mike and I both feel, that communication is part of your overall marketing efforts, right? Everything's
your brand.
Everything is part of your brand. It communicates good things about your brand. It can certainly communicate bad things about your brand, right? And so from everything from what you wear to vehicle wraps to your print collateral to your website. I mean, every single thing is part of, your just branding. In your particular case, Chad, you actually had us rebrand the organization. When was that? A year ago?
It was 1 year ago. We acquired a new company in the Columbia area, and we decided at that time it was a great time to rebrand.
Yeah. So talk to me about just overall branding and how it plays a part of in your business.
It's everything. Our branding is everything. Our logo to our mascot that you guys helped us design, the Jimmy Jr. We've got a great response from that mascot, and it just keeps you at front of mind. That's the whole thing. Is we talked about it yesterday, Cordell and I, is what makes somebody call, right? You don't call until you need us.
Yeah,
you're not riding around thinking about your heating and air system only until it breaks. So what makes you think about Wilson's? Well, the billboard, the van. So when you do look up and you Google us and you say, okay, well, there's the Google reviews, they're Google guaranteed. Okay, great. This is a company that I recognize in the area. Hey, let's try them first. Let's give them a call. You give us one call, that's all it's going to take. We're going to take care of the client from there.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. Well, one of the things you just described in a very general sense, Mike, is he described kind of a cohesive, integrated marketing strategy.
That's right.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, give me an idea of everything that we're doing from a marketing perspective for you.
Okay. So we have, of course, we have our materials. Everything is branded. We have our door hangers, our letterhead, koozies, swag stuff that we like to hand out, ink pens. Everything has got our logo on it. We do our billboards in the local areas. We do signs at the ball fields for the local high schools. So everywhere you go, you turn, we do yard signs. There's a Wilson's logo. There's a Wilson sign. We have, like I say, we have 12 service vans. We have our logoed box trucks. So hopefully the impression is as you go around that this company is all over the place.
Right.
And truly we are all over the place. We're in Lexington and Columbia and everywhere from, northeast up to the little small town of Whitmire.
And for those that are listening nationally, I mean, this is a large geographic area, but a small towns. It's made up of a bunch of small towns, a couple of larger ones, but just a really large area geographically. We
Yes.
have Lake Murray, obviously. You have to go around the lake all the way around. That's interesting. Right after this break, I want to just dive into just kind of some tactics that you feel might be working. I know Mike's got a number of questions for you. Again, for everybody that's watching and listening to us, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you just a minute on The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. Welcome back to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. Mike White, my colleague and business partner, here with me, and we also have a guest today, Mike.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chad Shealy with Wilson's Refrigeration and Air, based out of Columbia, South Carolina. They have a Columbia location, and they have a, what is it, Chad? Is it
It's Pomeria.
Pomeria?
Pomeria.
Also known as like the Newberry area, the upper side of Lake Murray area, which
Yeah.
is really where you're headquartered. I said headquartered out of Columbia, South Carolina, but you have a large office in Columbia, which you acquired for another business. Growth out of acquisition, that's a big deal. We actually talk about that a little bit on our show as well. And so you guys have lived through that over the last year and has turned that into a pretty profitable situation. Mike, what's the next direction we're going with some questions for Chad?
Yeah, so I kind of want to wrap up that conversation we were having about branding and kind of the impact of your marketing. So we know that a brand needs to really reflect who you authentically are as an organization. So how do you handle that with your staff? I mean, do y'all talk about those things? Like you got Jimmy Jr. out there on the side of a vehicle route that we need to live into the values of Jimmy Jr. and represent ourselves in that same kind of fashion.
We do. We have a thing that we call the Wilson way. This is the way we go to market. This is the way we do business. This is the way we install systems. This is the way we run our service calls. So when you're acquiring new employees or a new business, everybody has their way of doing things, and we always talk about the Wilson way. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Wilson is the hardest working man I've ever met. He runs all day, every day. There is not a time that he will not go to a client's house or help a technician or help an install crew. He works and works and works and works. He's one of those guys that has basically built a business from hard work, 100%.
Yeah.
And we really
That's
want
awesome.
to instill that into the guys. And the big thing is that anybody that knows Jimmy Wilson knows that he still is in the field 100%. I mean, he's,
That's his preference,
That's
right?
his preference.
Yeah.
If he walked in today, he would look like a technician. You would think he was going to work on your unit. But he is a
And he
working
would.
owner,
And
and he will.
he
He'd be
would,
glad
yeah.
to. He'll be
Great
glad
leadership
to take,
there.
He'll be glad to take it. He'll be crawl under the house with you. He'll go in the attic. It doesn't matter. He'll do anything that he asks his employees to do, and that's. And I've watched the guys year after year after year. Every new employee that comes to the business, and Jimmy has an opportunity to help them. I've watched them personally thank him for coming out there and helping them get through a sticky situation or something that might have been troubling them, or they couldn't get it fixed, and he was able to help them get it resolved. So, hats off to the owner.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. Talk about, you mentioned acquisition, and we talked about the Columbia location. Talk about how you, what that process looked like to integrate in, customers and employees that maybe were under a different culture than the Wilson way. Talk about how you integrated them in.
Oh my goodness. When we took the opportunity, when the opportunity arose to buy another location, it took some discussion, and myself and Cordell, we were very optimistic, and we knew that what we were doing in Pomeria could work anywhere. Mm-hmm. So we felt it would be a great opportunity not only to gain some customer base, but also gain technicians, because our field is super slim on quality technicians and laborers. So it's a big drop in market right now. So we gained some techs and we gained some employees, but what we gained was a culture that was not as where we wanted it to be. And it's been a really tough road this first year of working through those things, and we know we've had a change. We've already seen the shift in employee attitudes. We've seen the shift in customer reviews. When we bought the business, the company was a 3.5 star. Since October, if you look at our Google reviews at the Wilson location in Columbia, they've had over 118, and they're 5 stars. So my crew is, and they're naming the employee. That's impressive. It's not, it's not Matt and Mike doing me a favor and giving me a review. It's customer-driven reviews, and they're naming the person that come to their house, which is just outstanding.
That's fantastic, and I imagine that you've seen employee morale increase.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So you talk about reviews right there, Chad, and everybody knows how important reviews are online from a new customer shopping. Mike and I have talked about that in the past as well, how important reviews are. But you just brought something else up that I'm not sure that we actually spoke about in our last show that we talked about reviews, which was how a review can actually, or a client can leave a review can leave a specific employee name, and that employee can then have a boost in morale based off the fact that the customer was so proud of how well they did that they actually left him a review. Talk to me a little bit about how the review can affect the internal staff as well.
What we do with our reviews every week, as we review the in-house through Service Titan and Google reviews, we do what we call at the end of our meeting every week a wahoo. So hey, we give them a big wahoo. Crew Levi and Ray, did a great job at Mike's house or whatever. We read those reviews to the guys, we read them to the team, and we applaud the employees that have went out of their way, stuck to the Wilson way, went out of their way, over and beyond customer service, that the client thought enough of them, not only to name them, but to go online and leave a review. So every week we have wahoos, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Great way to end your company meeting.
Which is what Mike and I refer to as just simply celebrating the victories together, right?
Don't celebrate enough most of the time.
You just hit the nail on the head. We have a ton of clients that simply just don't celebrate the victories, and I get it. I get it, because you get very busy, right? And you're always wanting to, hey, let's go get the next customer. Hey, that was in the past. Let's move forward, right? And very few people take time to celebrate the victories.
We try to schedule something once a quarter.
Yeah.
Bowling, cooking fish at the lake, going fishing, golf tournament. We do paintball. We have something going on all the time for the employees.
Sounds like awesome. Teams that play together stay together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And those are the intangibles oftentimes that differentiate, especially in an industry like yours where manpower, woman power is at a premium. I mean, it's hard to find good quality candidates today because of the economy and simple fact that our education system has really encouraged people to go a different path than the service path, and now they're trying to shift that back and shift hard.
Well, they're shifting because my technicians are making more than the people graduating
That's
from
right.
college.
That's exactly right.
Hey, I wanted to go back just to a second, and I know this is probably the second time I've gone back to this exact same thing, Chad, but you talked about, again, the billboards and the branding and the mascot. I know we created a new mascot for you. The mascot was cool. The mascot was important, and the mascot really made the brand memorable and remarkable, right? Mascots are very, very powerful. But but they're not right for every type of industry, obviously, right? Like you're not going to have a
Correct.
doctor's office with a funny looking mascot, right? You know,
Right.
Especially if it's a brain surgeon.
Right, yeah, brain surgeon with a funny looking mascot, right? And so it's not right for everybody. But in a home service based business that you want to really make memorable, you want something like that mascot. But what you really kept describing was the fact that we use together for you a ton of different style media versus just one thing. And a lot of people like to put all of their eggs in one basket. Now we're digital. Hey, we love the digital media, right? As we say that in a traditional form of podcast and video and in offline scenarios, right? But we love digital. And if we were going to tell someone like yourself who said, hey, I really only want to do one or two tactics, we would probably start in digital. But you were describing a more comprehensive type of marketing, and you feel that works very well, right?
Yes, sir. Typically, I don't know that I've ever made a phone call from a billboard. But I do know that when you ride to work today and your air conditioner's not working, typically what the first person's going to do is, if they don't have somebody already in mind, who do you use? Right, and then they'll ask 2 or 3 people at work, who do they use? If they get the same answer, then maybe they'll call us immediately. Or they'll say, well, who is that? Start looking them up. So I think they'll go to Google, right? Do the Google. Hopefully we pop up right on the top, organically and paid, and Google guarantee. We know what service we're bringing, and we're just trying to promote it to the shout it from the mountaintops. So as they look, and then if we can grab that client or that customer, give them the customer experience that we would like, turn them into a client. Now I have 3 more people at work that are promoting Wilson's versus,
Nice.
I'm not sure who to use, Google it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So kind of to that point, what I'm hearing is that combination of brand marketing where you can't really measure necessarily you can't quantify the actual result. It's more of a planting of a field. It's a long-term crop or a marathon, where a direct response marketing, if I show up at home on Friday afternoon and the in-laws are on the way over and it's 98 degrees in my house, I'm looking for somebody to solve my problem quickly. And so where the brand is, we're building that top of mind awareness and just reinforcing the kind of our brand.
Exactly. So I can tell you a quick story. We didn't advertise at all until 2009. So 2009, I drew us a nice little logo online. It was pretty.
So I tell you what, before you jump into that story, we're going to have to go to break. And I don't want to just get like mid-story. So
Gotcha.
let's go to
Man, I
break,
look forward
come
to
back.
this.
I want to hear that story.
I got it.
We're going to fast forward from 2009 all the way to 2020.
Exactly.
So thanks for listening to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike, and we'll be back in 1 second. Welcome back to The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. Mike, we've had a good show here today. We're in the last segment of the show, and we have a good friend and client here with us, Chad Shealy with Wilson's Refrigeration and Air. Chad's the operator there, runs all of the operations, the offices, multiple offices, has a large crew, does phenomenal work. I remember, Mike, when you bought your house. Matter of fact, tell us that story when you bought your house. I know one of the first things that happened is your freaking air conditioner went out.
And we actually kind of expected it. We knew that the units were, I think 10, 12 years old. And I was like, man, I was kind of hoping I'd get a year or two out of it. But, we ultimately we didn't. And so I called Chad, and he immediately had one of his technicians come out, and they're like, you could Band-Aid this thing and limp along, but it's probably not going to last, and the other one's probably right behind it. So went ahead and made the decision.
Dang, he upsold you.
Yeah, it was easy, too. I was such an easy sell for him because I really like air conditioning, right?
Yeah. If you live in the South,
really
that's what like your favorite
If it would have
thing.
been heat only, I'd have been like, we can get blankets
Dang,
or
Mike
something.
got upsold.
Nobody skips air.
Mike got
Nobody.
upsold.
Yeah, air conditioning's a must. I can't sleep in a hot room. So they gave me a quote. They gave me a good, better, best option,
that.
which was really, really
That's
cool.
good.
We actually
Which one did you choose?
went with the best.
Wow.
Which is
Most people go in the middle.
They do, and if I was going to sell the house, within a couple of years, I probably would have
Gone with the better.
passed on the good to the next
the better.
the next homeowner,
Yeah.
the good or the better,
Yeah.
not the best. But since we plan on staying there, at least that's our plan today. We went ahead and went with the best one we could get, and it's really awesome, man. They put in these digital thermostats that can do a lot of things that my wife has figured out and I haven't.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Every time I walk by it, it flashes on and shows me what the temperature is and tells me what the humidity in the room is.
Nice.
Tells me, which golf shirt I should wear.
Yeah. Nice.
What game's on ESPN today.
They recently also installed 2 Remi Halo systems in my house, which is an air purification system.
They put those in mine as well.
Okay.
Yep.
And then they do you have the Ecobee thermostats? Because that's what they installed in my house.
I don't think so.
I love that.
We might need to upgrade him.
Yeah, hey, I think it's an upsell coming right now.
probably a new
Get ready to
thing,
do it right
right?
now.
Then
Yeah.
you can cut it on and off from your phone.
Hey,
check that out.
tell me, Chad. Tell me about the Remi Halo system.
Well, the Remi Halo system is a indoor air quality product that we sell that mounts into the duct system, into the plenum side or the supply side. It treats the air through all the vents in the home. So it produces a hydrogen peroxide ion, which is just like hydrogen peroxide in the bottle, except you can't see it, feel it, or taste it. You might could smell it a little bit. But it actually treats the countertop space, the doorknobs, and all the areas that you just might not get around to wiping down with your Lysol cloth. It also has an ionizer on it that produces positive and negative ions. So when you're sitting there and you're looking out the window and you see the dust floating by, those actually are charged particles, and they will stick together. And the more they stick together, the bigger they become, and they'll fall to the floor, or they'll be sucked up in your air filter. So it pulls a little bit of dust out. It treats the doorknobs. I had a client today tell me her son had asthma. We put one in her home, and it's reduced his asthma attacks. He's only had one in 6 months.
Wow.
Where he was having them every 2 to 3 weeks. So
I think it says something like kills 99% of all the
it does.
germs and bacteria in the house.
It's a long laundry list of words that I can't pronounce, but in the basics, it's MRSA, flu, strep, and a lot of those other staphylitis and staphylitis and whatever. It's pretty remarkable. It actually kills a sneeze in less than 3 feet.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's awesome.
And it's important to families like ours where we have, 3 little guys running around and an army of neighborhood kids that run in and out of our house. So you never know what, they wipe their nose and touch your handles and all that gross stuff. So it's very helpful in preventing, the spreading of lots of germs.
That's exactly right. I mean, the flu virus is heavily in our hometown now. My wife had the flu a week and a half ago. 3 other people in the home, and none of us got it.
Yeah,
we took a little extra precaution, and we kind of quarantined her off to the bedroom. But I had an air purifier beside the bed, so we try to take that extra step.
Oh yeah.
So right before we went to break in the third segment of the show, you were about to kind of give us a kind of a history snapshot of what was going on in your business, from revenue to growth, just overall growth probably in your business from 2009, I believe you were starting.
It was
to
2009.
now.
We go to your little dealer meetings, and people talk to you about branding, and I drew a little logo, and it wasn't very much, but it was something to start with. And I met a guy that did race car graphics, and he tuned it up for me. It was beautiful, man. So we got our first couple trucks wrapped. We wrapped all our vans, and immediately had people saying, "I see you everywhere."
Nice.
Went from no advertising whatsoever to van wraps. That was our first thing.
So there's already a branding, right?
Branding. We got
Vehicle
shirts.
wraps,
Right.
Mobile billboards.
We put our little logo on everything we had: hats, shirts, and all our promotional
Okay,
items.
so now promo items.
But very little did we do any with magazines or digital media. So as that market kept growing and growing, we ran into a nice lady that Miss Joy Mabry come in and called on us from Splash, conveniently, and you guys pitched me on a website. So that was our next step. We moved into the website development, and then you guys have built us a platform that I would say we started in about 2015 on the development. 16 we were a client. We've been one ever since. We've been blessed enough to have 30% growth year over year for the last 5 years.
It's fantastic.
Wow, that's significant growth. Yeah, congratulations
awesome.
on that. And so we would love, and we really appreciate you giving us kudos on that. That's awesome. We would love to take full credit. the key with that is, and I always tell our clients, and because they ask, hey, what can we expect? And I said, well, you should be able to expect growth. The problem is on the other end of the phone, when someone calls, someone still has to answer it. Someone still has to give great customer service. Someone still has to get great service, great products at a fair price. And so that's stuff that Mike or I or and our team, who is phenomenal, that's stuff that we can't control. So we're going to give the kudos right back to you guys because you do your part.
It's a great combination. It's a good team.
It is.
We've got, like just alluded to earlier, it's a relationships build businesses, and when you find good relationships that work, and then that's who you partner with, and you lock arms and you make a move and you steam forward ahead.
Yeah,
that's right. Big dream, big team.
That's right.
I like that. Big dream, big team. Yep.
30% growth year over year is fantastic, especially in an industry where there's lots of competition, and but then there's that limited supply of people power,
staffing.
Right.
Staffing.
Our business is located in a town of 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the town.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's not your service area, but that's
not
definitely
the service area,
right. Your service area is quite large. For this area, for this geographic
all of the Midlands,
area.
for sure.
Right up on the other side of Lake Murray, so you do get the pleasure of riding across a beautiful lake, one of the largest man-made lakes in the southeast. In fact, I think it's got 350 something miles of shoreline, and so it's a beautiful lake, very clean. I love it out there. All right, well, Chad, it's been great having you on our show here at the Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. One of the coolest things that we get to do, Chad, is have folks like yourself on and really just talk about your business. We get to break down, and so today I feel like we've talked about culture. You've done a great job building culture because I know a ton of your guys. In fact, you've had me over to both offices many times, and I see that culture. I know that you guys employ a lot of culture building tactics. Growth type stuff. You do disc personality type stuff. You join some of the workshops that we put on here that we do quite a bit of leadership training. You guys just really lead the charge when it comes to the service-based industry. So I'm real proud of you there. You've also talked a lot about branding and the importance of branding, just a comprehensive, cohesive marketing strategy. People ask me a lot of times, Chad, and I think you might have been one of these folks back in 2016, 2017, hey, what tactics work the best? And I always say, and Mike, I know I've been in many meetings, you say the same thing, that digital, if you just go choose kind of an avenue or, vehicles, is digital first, right? Put your money in digital. The key there is you get a good return off digital. You get a lesser return if you're just doing traditional. But when you put those two things together,
it's powerful.
It's a very, very powerful marketing strategy.
Well, the digital strategy, what I found was, as I was trying to promote our business on Facebook personally, and I'm sure there's somebody listening today that tries to do their little Facebook post. When we finally got involved with a company that took care of it for us, and we can keep our message out there every day, and we can pick and choose who we want to send our advertising to, it really changed it.
Yeah. The mascot was a big addition. That was a lot of fun for us to create. We do custom mascots here. And but having Jimmy Wilson, the owner of the organization, and creating a mascot called Jimmy Jr. And Jimmy was so fun to work with on that. But we really appreciate our partnership with Wilson's. We appreciate our partnership with you, Chad, and we wish you the best of luck. In fact, we're responsible for some of that, so we'll get it going here. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. Until next time, we will see you soon.
Thank you for having me.